Welcome back to Next Gen Investing. It's now time to discuss our FOMO stock of the day and probably one of our FOMO stocks of the week thus far. And I know we're actually saying this preemptively, but we do have GTC this week, so we're talking NVIDIA. Here to tell us now more is Caroline Woods, Senior Markets Correspondent for the network. Caroline, always an important one to discuss. I would argue actually one of the most important names when looking at the overall market because of its high correlation with the S&P 500, as it's now down about 2%. But walk us through the latest with GTC expectations running pretty high, I've seen.
Hey there, yes, Jenny. NVIDIA's GPU Tech Conference, aka GTC, its AI conference, kicks off today. It goes through Friday, the 21st. I think the big headline, of course, what everyone's going to be focused on is Jensen Huang's keynote, which is expected tomorrow at 10 Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And he's expected to share what's next in agentic AI, robotics, accelerated computing, and more. And NVIDIA has already said it will be news-packed. On the most recent earnings call, Jensen Huang teased the event saying, we're going to provide a big, huge step up. And so to come at come to GTC, I'll talk to you about Blackwell Ultra, Vera Rubin, and then show you what's the one click after that really exciting new product. So just to break that down, Blackwell Ultra is the latest flagship AI chip. It's expected to deliver over 50% more memory capacity and significantly higher performance than the earlier Blackwell offerings. I think any timing commentary is going to be key there, given the fact that NVIDIA, of course, faced delays in fully ramping up Blackwell production to start. Rubin is NVIDIA's next generation GPU platform. That's expected in 2026. Vera is the successor to its Grace line on the CPU front, and then the combined super chip will be called Vera Rubin. So that's your your key going into this event. I was taking a look at some of the featured panels. There's one on the rise of humanoids, robots, of course, AI agents shaping the future of cybersecurity, and then interestingly enough, one on quantum computing. It says where we are and where we're headed. Obviously, Jensen Huang really sent quantum stocks plunging earlier this year, when back in January, he basically said that practical quantum computers are still between 15 and 30 years away. So let's see what they have to say on that. But speaking of selling off, NVIDIA shares are down about 22% from their peak, down about almost 12% year to date. So I think the big question heading into this event is this a buying opportunity, or will the sell-off continue? Today, NVIDIA shares are under more pressure, down more than 2% right now. So while there might be some bullishness from analysts heading into the event, it seems like there's still some uncertainty from the investor community. That being said, if you take a look, as I know you guys have covered, the Mag 7 all lower today. And I was actually just chatting with Jay Woods over at Freedom Capital Markets. He just stopped by the desk, and he's on the lookout for this death cross where the 50-day moving average goes below the 200-day moving average for NVIDIA. So there's some death cross watching going on right now as well. But tomorrow afternoon will be a big one for NVIDIA shares with Jensen Huang set to speak.
Yeah, it seems like the stakes are pretty high here. I'm always kind of the belief, Caroline, that, what are they going to say? They're going to tell us that business is bad. Like, the information is going to be a positive story. He's going to be excited. And then it comes down to the market. How excited is the market? And that's usually where the information's taken away. NVIDIA, much more middle of the range, you could say, over the last, few weeks where it's sitting now. So certainly feels high stakes, going to be fun either way. What's the feeling, though, around this? Does people like Jay, are they worried about the NVIDIAs of the world, or they think this is just a healthy pullback?
Well, in terms of, that's obviously on the technical side from Jay Woods. In terms of the fundamentals, I mean, if you take a look at the analyst community, 92% still have a buy rating on NVIDIA shares. So there's a lot of bullishness. In terms of some of the notes that I've been seeing heading into the event, Morgan Stanley reiterated NVIDIA as an overweight, saying that it's standing by it ahead of GTC, saying NVIDIA roadmap is well understood, but we see GTC as a positive. Bank of America reiterated as a buy with a $200 price target, saying GTC comes as NVIDIA stock has fallen nearly 10% so far in 2025, a little bit more than that obviously now today, creating a compelling valuation for high quality growth. So staying bullish heading into this conference. On Friday, Mizuho reiterated an overweight rating or an outperform rating, but actually lowered its price target to 168 from 175, so still higher than where it's currently trading. But they are focused on the slowing growth concerns and actually think that it might not see a positive positive catalyst until after the May earnings, saying many do not believe or expect GTC to overshadow all the uncertainties and worries regarding weakening macro, tariff uncertainties, China restrictions that could take down NVIDIA's revenues, weaker gross margins near term, and the pace of new product ramp given supply chain challenges. So the analyst still likes NVIDIA, but sees the stock as range bound until the May earnings. And then last week, Wedbush's Dan Ives said he was sticking with his bullishness on NVIDIA, saying that the GTC conference will be a turning point for tech stocks as the street starts to refocus on the AI revolution and the massive tech spending ahead. So he's clearly looking at that as a catalyst. He did say that his bullish call on NVIDIA and the rest of the Mag 7 has been upside down so far this year, but says that his stock calls are not for the next few months. It's where they see the names over the next 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. So sticking with the bullishness. So I think that the Mizuho analysts certainly gave a good kind of list of all the uncertainties and headwinds that NVIDIA could certainly face. But, you know, when it comes to the actual fundamentals, we saw NVIDIA easily beat analysts' estimates in terms of earnings. Revenue saw, you know, a 12% sequential increase, 78% increase from the prior year. Data center revenues more than doubled from the prior year. Gross margins obviously under some pressure, which was expected in the first half of this year because of the Blackwell ramp. So the numbers continue to impress. It's just a matter of when investors are going to want to start buying again.
That is a great point. I think that's where everyone is trying to now gauge, because I can understand, I mean, all of the headwinds laid out by Mizuho and the felt uncertainty, but it's like, then where do we find a bottom in here? Because we need NVIDIA to start, recovery. I know we're down also today, but I kept waiting for more of this positive momentum to translate into today's session. But I guess maybe not the way we're starting the week for NVIDIA here. Appreciate it, though, as always. Caroline Woods, Senior Markets Correspondent for the network.